You have to realize that we're people, and that we just need privacy, and we need our respect, and those are things that you have to have.
We all know about the bright side of fame. After all, it's fed us a continuous 24-hour news cycle on every type of screen imaginable. But for every news story that shines a light on all the positive aspects of celebrity, there are two that have fallen through the cracks because they cast the industry in less than a favorable light. These stories deal with the dark side of fame, and that's exactly what this series is all about. For today's episode, we're focusing on the story of one of the most famous pop icons of a generation, the one and only Britney Spears, and the most public downfall of any star in history.
Leave Britney alone! Please!
On the bright side of fame, some people might think Britney had it all. More than 100 million sold records worldwide, the best-selling female artist in the United States in the 2000s, and is the 5th most successful overall. Not to mention a ton of awards and award show performances, although not all of them were flattering. That's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the dark side of fame for Britney. With 27 million followers on Instagram alone, a lot of people have been watching her Instagram videos, certain that they were to witness a mental breakdown, which gave rise to the Free Britney fan movement to have her released from her censorship. With the recent documentary framing Britney Spears having everyone take another look at the rise and fall of this pop princess, is actually one of the craziest Hollywood stories of all time. For nearly a decade, everything Britney Spears did made the news. If she pumped gas or spit salt, it would hit the tabloids, and the paparazzi hounded her relentlessly.
Let's take one picture. We're standing in front of the street, dog. Just
You're outside home, you stupid move!
In 2008, Britney was hospitalized after what appeared to be a drug-related breakdown. After an emergency court hearing, custody of her 2 sons was given to their father, Kevin Federline, and she was placed under a legal conservatorship controlled by her father, Jamie Spears, who's got a whole crazy backstory of his own. We got a lot to get through.
I'm just so relieved that that this is over with.
What's going on, guys? Your boy Marlon Palmer. Here we go with a deep dive into Britney Spears' plunge into the dark side of fame, here for you on Before They're Famous. Also, be sure to let me know where you were when you heard that Britney had shaved her head. I remember I was in like a grocery store line and just saw it in the tabloids, much like everything else that happened in her life.
Oh my God! She is completely bald.
Let's also be sure to send her some positive comments over on her Instagram and all her social media. She could really use that right now. Let's get into this video. Britney Jean Spears was born on December 2nd, 1981 in Macomb, Mississippi. The second of 3 children to parents Lynn Irene Bridges and James Parnell Spears, Mom was the daughter of a strict Baptist dairyman and a British war bride with dreams of escaping the small-town life of Kentwood, Louisiana. The parents met in small-town Macomb, where Britney's dad, Jamie, was a young party guy who popped wheelies on his motorcycle and divorced his first wife 2 weeks before he married Lynn. His own mother committed suicide when he was 14, as parents Lynn worked as a second-grade school teacher and Jamie as a contractor with projects in Memphis, a few hours drive away. He generally came home on weekends, and when he was around, he was often drunk. The parents' marriage was strained, and mother Lynn poured her own dream for fame and fortune into her daughter Britney. By age 3, she began singing in her local church, competed in gymnastic competitions and talent shows. From 8 to 12, Britney and her mom would split their time between New York and Kentwood as Britney booked commercials, played the lead in a Broadway play, Ruthless, and performed on Star Search. Imagine having that much talent at that young age. Like, wow. The family declared bankruptcy before Britney made enough to support them all. At 12, she landed a role on the Mickey Mouse Club alongside Christina Aguilera, Justin Timberlake, and Ryan Gosling. For some time, Britney dropped out of the spotlight and returned to a normal childhood, but following the success of manufactured pop groups like Spice Girls and the Backstreet Boys, it didn't take long for Hollywood executives to come up with the idea to manufacture a young female contender that would appeal to both young men and young girls all over the world.
The way that Baby One More Time has just exploded, surprised you at all?
Well, I hoped and I dreamed, you know.
Yeah.
In January 1999, Britney emerged on the national stage with video for Baby One More Time, dressed up as a Catholic schoolgirl. The success was the equivalent to an atomic bomb, and Britney's first 2 albums sold more than 39 million copies, and all eyes were on the young starlet. And they're still dressing like her on Halloween to this day. A pioneer, an icon.
What was that? Everyone's talking about it.
What?
Well, your breasts.
My breasts.
Apparently the press weren't allowed to even ask this personal question, but this guy just He just went for it. That was the first big blow to Britney's golden girl image, with everyone speculating over if she did or didn't opt for breast implants, which she did. It was none of our business. It was none of our business.
What do you think about breast implants, just in general?
Well, I think if that's what you want to do and that would make you happy, then I see nothing wrong with it. But I haven't done that.
Then there was her relationship with Justin Timberlake and their public proclamation that they would save themselves for marriage, but the honeymoon wouldn't last the test of time. Even though memes of them in their matching denim outfits would as well. The two allegedly split backstage at SNL over cheating allegations. When Justin dropped Cry Me a River with his lyrics and a lookalike cast in the video, Britney was branded as the bad one of the two superstars to a generation of teen fans.
Leave Britney alone! Please.
What followed next was a 3-day party in Las Vegas which reportedly involved cocaine, ecstasy, and Xanax, before her and her high school sweetheart Alexander took a lime green limo to the Little White Wedding Chapel and had a $40 wedding. The two were separated before the end of the week. By now, Britney was itching to show a more edgy side to her persona and celebrity, and in August 2003, Spears opened the MTV Video Music Awards with Christina Aguilera, performing Like a Virgin. Halfway through, they were joined by Madonna, with whom they both kissed. It became an instant classic. I gotta say, that kiss was much better than the Coachella Drake kiss. That was much better. In 2004, she met Kevin Federline, a 25-year-old cornrowed white boy who'd previously been a dancer for Justin Timberlake. He was also a high school dropout from Fresno, California, the son of an auto mechanic with one baby and another on the way. His nickname was Meat Pole. I know a Jamaican never gave him that name. It could never be a Jamaican. Regardless, Britney was smitten. The two were soon married, popped out 2 kids in 3 years, and lived off her fame selling their wedding and baby photos for millions. In February 2006, pictures surfaced of Spears driving with her son Sean on her lap instead of in a car seat. Child advocates were horrified by the photos of her holding the wheel with one hand and Sean with the other. This was just the beginning of countless tabloid headlines Britney would be at the front and center of.
What made you join the Paparazzi? Britney's case.
I'd witnessed far too many cases of it in the mining community I grew up in.
And you wanted to stamp it out from the inside?
No, I wanted to be a part of it.
Her world appeared to be falling apart, as was her relationship when she asked Kevin Federline for a divorce via text message in November of 2006. It turns out this happened while he was in Toronto promoting his rap album while at Much Music, right down the street. And of course, we can't forget there was a highly publicized nights of partying with Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan and enough paparazzi pics to keep the likes of TMZ and Perez Hilton to continue pumping out the news. Harvey Levin, founder of TMZ, told Rolling Stone, "We serialized Britney Spears. She's our President Bush." Perez said, "She is by far the top person I have written about on my website, ever." Next came rehab after she lost custody of her children. Then there was the infamous head shaving and attack on paparazzi car with an umbrella, which was followed again by another trip to rehab. There was a magazine shoot where she let her dog poop on a $6,700 gown, then a hit and run. The charge was dropped, obviously, but there was an investigation by the Department of Children and Family Services and her hospitalizations on January 3rd and January 31st. Things were pretty much bat crazy for the next handful of years. She ended up dating a member of the paparazzi, which makes some sense seeing as these were the people that during these years were following her the most. Or in my opinion, Stockholm Syndrome. Her relationship with her family became strained. Her younger sister she would speak with over the phone, but she lost trust in her mother, who had become caught up in her own pursuit for fame and had sold Jamie Lynn's pregnancy photos to OK Magazine for $1 million. Enter Britney's father, James, in 2008. During this time, Britney had been committed to the psychiatric ward of Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center and put on 5150 involuntary psychiatric hold under California state law. The court placed her under conservatorship led by her father, Jamie Spears, giving him complete control of her assets, and that's where Britney would remain for the last decade or so. She's continued to work, put out new albums, did a Vegas residency tour, and more. For the past decade, she remained tight-lipped, speaking only through her legal team, but she has made subtle comments. Speaking with MTV, she stated, "If I wasn't under the restraints that I am under right now, you know, with all the lawyers and doctors and people analyzing me every day and all that kind of stuff, if that wasn't there, I'd feel so liberated and I'd feel like myself. I'm kind of stuck in this place and it's like, how do you deal? I just cope with it every day. When I tell them the way I feel, it's like they hear me, but they're not really listening. They're hearing what they want to hear. They're not listening to what I'm telling them. It's bad. I'm sad. Only in recent years did the Free Britney movement take on a life of its own, with protesters appearing outside her courthouse, where her father has finally lost his control over her life and estate. We're hoping this means the beginning of a new chapter for Britney and can only wish her nothing but the best.